Budget debates continue over teacher evaluations and ethics reform. Governor Cuomo, the Senate Republicans, and the Assembly Democrats all working together to hammer out a budget before an April 1st deadline. This would be the governor's fifth straight on-time budget, but there are still plenty of hurdles that Cuomo and lawmakers have to clear before that happens. Here to talk about some of those obstacles, our political analyst, New York Post political columnist Fred Dicker, joining us as he does from Albany. Fred, we know that Governor Cuomo likes to have those on-time budgets. What are his chances as of right now?
Well, you know, remember a couple of months ago, the governor for the first time was invoking the possibility of purposely delaying the budget if he didn't get what he wanted. That startled a lot of people, and he was making demands for non-budget issues like what he calls education reform in the budget, saying that if you don't do what I want, we may not have an on-time budget. That said, the last couple of days has produced a real turnaround, Liz. It's looking very much hopeful for an on-time budget because the governor is retreating. The last couple of days, he made it clear that he's no longer making the demands that he was making for what he calls education reform in the budget. There's still a dispute over the question of ethics reforms and whether that'll be in the budget. But right now, the governor is back down big time in the face of opposition from his fellow Democrats in the Assembly, and we're just now waiting to see what happens to the ethics issue. Other than those two, it looks like there should be an on-time budget. All
right, we'll see what that happens. And it's interesting talking about the education that he really has taken a pounding on TV. Just today we saw Cardinal Dolan doing a spot asking the governor to get involved and, you know, providing more money for education. We got the teachers union saying, you know, don't forget us, get this straightened out. Do you think that he's capitulating because it was just too much pressure?
Absolutely. I mean, he thought he could win, he would do it. The real pressure, though, was the fact that the Assembly Democrats, who were a huge majority, his fellow Democrats, said, no way, we're not going to do this. You want a late budget? Fine. But we're not going to do this because they really are very close to the teachers' unions. Cardinal Dolan is looking for something else, Liz, that has to do with a tax credit for parochial schools and private schools. The teachers' unions are against that. So are the Assembly Democrats. So it's a mixed picture down here, but it's not the Cardinal Dolan ad that's really taking its toll. It's the teachers unions and their allies in the Democratic conference in the Assembly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware that these are two different issues. I just thought it was interesting that they're coming at him from all sides on this. And
and the polls have shown he's suffering as a result. I mean, the public in the most recent polls a few days ago are just overwhelmingly with the teachers unions on this issue rather than with the governor, and he's well aware of that.
All right, thank you, Fred. Fred's on the radio live from the state capitol. It's weekday mornings, 10 to 11, Talk 1300 AM.